We begin with the first lesson, polar coordinates. In chapter 8, polar coordinates and complex numbers. I'm sure you might be wondering what are polar coordinates. Before I explain what are they, let's see the objectives of this lesson. It is graph points with polar coordinates and graph simple polar equations. Now again, polar is popping up. Before I explain you what polar coordinates are, let's go through the keywords. Polar coordinates, complex numbers, and polar equations. These are few of the terms you will come across and learn thoroughly in this lesson. Please watch the videos and continuity, and you'll be very thorough with the lesson objectives of this particular lesson. Before solving problems, I want to let you know briefly about polar coordinates. Now, till now, if you have remembered, we know graphing coordinates. Now imagine we have point 3 comma 4. So imagine this is 3 and this is 4. This will be the point 3 comma 4. That is how we graph. And this is called this is how we have learned till now. X distance is 3, y distance, the vertical distance is 4, horizontal and vertical distance. If you recall what sort of a coordinate system this is called the rectangular coordinate system. So generally we use rectangular coordinate systems. Say we are taking a point P. Now in this graph you can see over here. The x and y can be any distance. Now the coordinate x is the, over here, x is the horizontal distance and y is the vertical distance. Okay, so please remember this is the vertical up to down, x is the horizontal. And what next? Now look at this point. We are getting this point, but is there any other way to get this particular point without the horizontal and vertical distance? Now you know this is the center, right? This is O, the center. How about I draw a straight line from here to here? Let me draw a straight line. That'll be the shortest distance to reach this point, isn't it? So this can be the radius. And what is this angle? This is an angle theta. If we use this radius and the angle theta to plot the same point, then that's polar. In polar coordinate system, the origin is fixed on the polar axis. So this is an axis which does not change, it does not move. And from this point, you plot the same point over here. But you consider an angle theta and the radius that will be found at this, whatever is the distance over here, that's the radius. So this is how we get the polar coordinate system. Now, doesn't matter what this x and y, the rectangular coordinate, or r and theta, the polar coordinate, they will land up to the same point. This might be 4, 3, and this point over here, if you draw the horizontal and the vertical distance, it will be 4, 3 itself. It's the same point, but you're using the angle and the radius. So the location of a point P in the polar coordinate system can be identified by polar coordinates of the form radius and the angle theta. And r is the directed distance from the pole, this is the pole, to the point, and theta is the directed angle from the polar axis to this line. So this is about polar coordinates, where you will have an angle and the radius. So this is about polar coordinates. We will learn more in the coming videos, the polar equations and everything, and you'll be very thorough. Coming on, we will start to know how to graph them and then also graphing polar equations. Please stay tuned and watch all the videos and continuity.